Hi family, hi friends, hi food lovers, hey neighbors, hey community, hey comics, people who like to cook, connect, and kvetch. Thanks so much for joining me for Hot Dish. Hello and welcome to Hot Dish. I am your host, Lauren Huberman. Each week, I attempt to cook up something hot and tasty while a special guest dishes about their life. Today, I'll be making plátanos machos asados con cajeta y nueces, which is roasted plantains with Mexican goat milk caramel and chopped walnuts. And today, my special guest is Winifred Gundek, and I'm so excited to have her on. She has a beautiful home and a beautiful boutique in Andersonville, which is how I got to know you, Winnie. You are an artist, you're a style maker, you're an Instagram poster extraordinaire, and you're a real delight. And I'm so excited to have you on today. How are you?
Thanks, Lauren. Thanks for having me. I'm good. I'm doing so well. I'm excited I'm really excited to see how you're actually able to cook and conduct this interview because I can't do both. I would never be able to do both things.
It's a bit of a challenge sometimes, but it's also part of the fun, you know. So I should say that the reason I selected this dish for today, well, I took out my Rick Bayless Mexican cooking book, which I never have used, I don't think, but there's always a first. And I wanted to select this because I was reading about your boutique and the way that you have worked with a small community in Mexico, a small group of women who are making some of your jewelry from your designs. So we can dive into all of that, but I wanted to do that to, kind of honor that because that's really neat and unique.
That's very cool.
So
thanks.
Of course. So Winnie, will you tell me a little bit and tell everybody a little bit about your store and how you got started with Winifred Grace?
Sure. Oh my gosh, I'd love to. So I moved to Chicago in 2000, and I moved here for a job as a graphic designer. I had just finished graduate school, and I worked at a small boutique design firm, and I sort of hated it. And I was like close to my calling. It was like creative, which I had not been doing before. But I really did not like what I was doing. And I ended up quitting with no real idea what I was going to do. And in 2003, I launched Winifred Grace, which at the time was a very small collection of handmade jewelry that I made in my house, in my living room. And I did private trunk shows. So I had friends that were living all over the country, and I would just literally pack up a bag of stuff and they would host a party for me at their house. And so I got like a really good idea of what people wanted, what women wanted, and what they were drawn to. And it grew from there. I started selling, wholesale to boutiques around the country. And so I did that started in 2003, and I did it for about 11 years. And during which my son was born in 2011. And he's 9 now. And after he was born, I really had this like, oh, now I get the big deal about jewelry that's customized with your kid's name on it or their birthday. Like suddenly it all made sense to me. Whereas, in the past, that was not ever anything that I was super interested in or super interested in offering for people. And so I started offering custom stamped jewelry at different events. And Amanda, my manager, who's been with me forever, she would come and she would stamp on the spot. And it was like, wow, oh my gosh, so successful. And so then I just started looking for spaces. Mostly I was looking for studio space to work out of. And I secured a lease. It was a storefront in Andersonville. It was our first location. And at the very beginning, I thought, well, I'm not going to be open for retail. Like, I don't really have any intention of opening a retail store. We're just going to be a studio and it'll be by appointment only. And then I thought, well, that's really dumb. I have like a retail space. Why not use it for retail? And so at that point, so this was almost 7 years ago, we opened up the brick and mortar, and I had no idea what I was doing. And it has grown from there, where now we offer, clothing and shoes, accessories, some home goods, in addition to my jewelry, tons of other jewelry. But when we first opened the store, we were offering custom stamping while you wait, which was like the big draw. And so we would have blank pendants and cuffs, and people could come in 30 minutes get this, super personalized piece of jewelry. And we still do that, but we don't do it while you wait. It was too much pressure. And so now we have like a week turnaround. But anyway, so it's in May, it'll be our 7-year anniversary. And we've since moved to a different location, which is on the corner right near the coffee studio, which we love so much. We get tons of light and tons of exposure. So it's just been like a totally unexpected, wild ride, and it's awesome. And I wouldn't change a thing about it.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. Your space is beautiful. Your store is. I have this headband, and I have one other headband that I got when you were at the store, like the bright blue one. And this is from your store. And oh my goodness, my jeans are also from your store.
I love it.
And I love all of it.
I'm so happy to hear that.
So I'm gonna start preparing our plantains, which is very simple. And I'm just cutting off the ends. And then I am putting in a pretty shallow slit here. I've been making a lot of desserts on the show, but actually what I read, I have never had this, is that these plantains are not sweet in the sense like bananas.
Yeah.
And that they, so who knew? Not me. But I'm going to try it. I got these at the Edgewater Produce.
Yeah. I love that place.
So great. So yes, me too. It's wonderful. And it's nice to just pop in and out. It's so easy.
Have you always,
but Winnie, yeah.
Oh no, I was going to ask you, have you always
Go ahead.
liked to bake and cook, or is this like a new thing for you?
It's a new thing. It's a new thing for sure.
You're so brave.
I am not. I like. Thank you. Well, I like to bake because it's more predictable to me. Cooking, I've made some terrible things cooking. And I actually, this is a new thing since quarantine, and it's just really kept my sanity, and it's been fun.
That's
know.
Great.
But I wanted. Yeah.
Oh no, I was going to say, I make a lot of banana bread, and I discovered that I didn't know this before, but that you put your bananas in the oven and bake them in order to ripen them. If you don't have already ripe bananas for banana bread, you just put them in the oven for like 20 minutes.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
That's a great tip because I love to bake banana bread. So right now I'm just gonna put the chopped walnuts in the skillet ungreased for 5 minutes, just to whatever it does. Bake them a little bit, give them kind of like a nuttier flavor, and darken them a little. Good. And Winnie, and I set my timer here for 20 minutes for our plantains. Okay. But I also wanted to hear about the group of women that you have been working with in Mexico. And just, can you just say a little bit about that?
Sure. So, so after my son was born, it was like this turning point where I really, I felt like I had a choice to make. I was either going to quit my business, like shut it down, um, which, truth be told, we couldn't really afford to be a one income family, and so. But the other component was I had been doing it for so long that I had so many friends that were mothers already who said, you know, you've poured so much into this and you've built this over so many years. Don't give it up. Just recreate it and reinvent it and make it work for you in a way that's different from the way it is now, because it wasn't working. It was like we didn't really have childcare, and I was like, how am I gonna, you know, how am I going to do both things, be a mom to a newborn and run this business, which was ultimately my firstborn. And so I just, I just said, okay, I'm going to give myself a couple months and I'm going to really like think hard on what I want this to look like and how it can work for me. And up until that point, I had been making things and Amanda had been making things, but we were really kind of limited to our skill set and what we could do. And so I just started poking around, and I was on Etsy, and I was just looking like at just research, like what is out there and what are people doing and what's available and raw materials and all these different things. And I kind of kept coming back to this one shop that was selling raw materials. And for whatever reason, I liked the shapes of the metal pieces that they were selling or whatever it was. And then it suddenly occurred to me, I had a conversation with my husband, and he said, well, why don't you reach out to them and see if they would be willing to produce jewelry for you, some of your designs. And I did. I just sent an email, and the next thing I knew, I had emailed them designs, and they were just completely rough sketches. And this woman, Laura, who is American, she's not Mexican, but lives in Mexico. And they're in this very small town where it's fairly remote and there's not a lot of job opportunities. There's not a lot of work. And so a common thing that happens there is that women will get pregnant and the men will eventually leave because there's no work there. And so these women are then left to take care of their families and raise these children with no real income. And so Laura started this jewelry workshop where she trains these women. It's not a charity. It's you pay. They send us an invoice and we pay them just like we would any other wholesaler, so to speak. And there are, I think the group of women changes often. I think there are some women that have been there longer than others. And they're not masters at their craft, but they're hardworking and they are dedicated to getting it right. And Laura is awesome to work with. And I was a Spanish major, which is sometimes helpful, but it's, truth be told, Laura speaks obviously perfect English, and many of the women there do as well. So it's been a relationship that's now been going on for almost as long as my son has been alive. So a long, long time. I've never been there. I've never met any of them in person. I haven't met Laura in person. We've talked on the phone, I think like once or twice. But it's one of those relationships that was like, holy cow, this was what a funny turn of events and it completely changed our business. So it was great.
That's wonderful. And I'm sure it's completely, changed these women's lives, there's no
Well,
question.
I mean, I hope so. You know, we have certainly loved getting to know how they do things and you know what they do, what their strengths are, and I think they work with other people like myself. I'm not the only one. So I think what Laura's doing is awesome, and we're just kind of like part of her good doing. So
Yeah, that's so neat, Winnie. And I know that you feature a lot of other you know, artists, designers in your store, which is so neat. And you also, sorry, I'm just checking our walnuts here. They're looking a little bit crispy, a little bit brown. I think I want to
that's so
stop.
easy to do with, I feel like with nuts, with pine nuts. I always overcook my pine nuts.
I mean, I imagine that you're an expert.
Oh my God.
Chef.
I hate cooking. I am the worst cook. The only reason I love to bake is because I have a sweet tooth that is very unmanaged. And so it's mostly just a vehicle to batter of some kind. And
Yeah,
no, I'm not a horrible cook. I just really hate it. Like I really dislike it. And so
really.
we eat out a lot or bring in a lot. We've been bringing in a lot this past year.
That's
No,
so
I don't.
funny.
I don't.
I totally imagine you like cooking
Oh
all
God.
day and then presenting
Oh
something
God,
gourmet.
so far from it. I like have visions of that and mostly hate grocery shopping. I don't like making a list.
Yeah.
We've used those services where they like Blue Plate or whatever they're called. Uh, you know, Blue
Yeah.
Apron, not Blue Plate. Where they
Blue
like
Apron.
send you all the ingredients and then they give you a recipe, and that is right up my alley, and that I actually enjoy. It's sort of like ABC 1, 2, 3. I can do that, but no, no. If I if
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
no. I'm
funny.
glad like that's nice to know that, you know, I put off that vibe, but I'm not that person. I am so not. I'm
Oh
so
my
not.
God. Yeah. No, I totally pictured that. Well, the other thing I was going to say is like, not only do you kind of promote other women and artisans in your store, but you do so on Instagram. And I have to say, I wasn't actually really on Instagram much, I don't even think before the pandemic.
Mhm.
But I have so enjoyed reading your posts. And
Thanks.
truly, and what I have found, you post about everything. I mean, you post about, of course, your store and different styles and stuff, but you post
Mhm.
about like design inspirations. You post about how you're feeling, which is
Mhm.
typically upbeat, but on occasion you might
Mhm.
say like I'm grouchy.
Yeah.
You posted about menopause,
Yeah.
you post about your family and your friends, and it seems so brave to me. I don't know, how does it feel to you?
It's it is I have like a love hate with Instagram where and I think so many people do. It has been the number one marketing tool that we use. It's in fact it's really the only marketing tool that I use. And so without it, we would not have survived the pandemic for sure. Like it it kept us afloat, and for me, I think it's really important. It's sort of imperative that I be as authentic as possible because um, it's just so easy to not be. And I feel like people respond to it. And if I'm not in the store, I mean, one of the things that I sort of insist upon in the store is that it's an authentic experience where everybody feels welcome. You feel no pressure to buy anything, and that you will leave in a better mood than when you came in. And I want it to be um, just as real as possible. I mean, we have, so few moments in life and people are so busy. And when they come into the store, I want it to be a place that they want to come back. And so I feel that same way about Instagram. And I kind of, as much as I can, want to create an authentic environment for people, which involves me sharing, me sharing of myself, with the hopes that it will encourage other people to be authentic with their thoughts and their feelings and themselves. It's sometimes hard because it's I will be vulnerable on Instagram, and then when I go into the store, like this happened to me yesterday. I hadn't been in the store in a couple weeks, and I went in, and I felt really vulnerable. And so it's different being vulnerable online than it is in person. And so I suddenly felt like, oh my gosh, I want like some sort of protection from the outside world, because suddenly there's all these people who know all these things about you. And so there's a balance that that is really important, and boundaries that I kind of am still working on building, because sometimes, I'll talk to certain people that they know all these things about me, and I realize like, oh, I know nothing about them, which is fine, but it sometimes feels there's like an imbalance. But that's not to say I'm going to stop doing it. I do really feel strongly about it. I am that way in real life. It's not just a gimmick. But it's anyway, it's great for just helping to identify and get to know my customer too, because people will often message me privately, or they'll leave comments. And ultimately, like, getting to know my customer it's invaluable. So I'm glad that you enjoy it and appreciate it, and that it resonates with you.
Yeah, no, it does. And also, I mean, I think a lot of people who do any kind of have any type of public facing role or performance, like, you feel that, I can say, like, as a stand up, when I talk about do I want kids? Do I even have any eggs left? And then someone comes out to me after the show and they're like, let's talk about this. Like, I feel the same way. And I'm like, stop it.
No, that's so interesting. That is really interesting. And it's still, even though you're sharing it, it's still personal, and you're sharing it in a way that is controlled, and it's under your it's still under your what's the word I'm looking for, your guidance or your approval. And then if somebody comes in and sort of charges at it, it it's a little disarming. Yeah, it can be.
That's exactly right. Yeah. I was scrolling through your Instagram, and I pulled this from December 24th. And I just wanted to read it just so, viewers, listeners could have a sense of it. And you had posted, what's your struggle today? Worrying you didn't buy enough gifts, worrying you bought too many gifts to make up for the fact that you didn't buy the right gifts, feeling lonely because you're not with your people, feeling lonely because you are with your people, judging the food you're eating, judging the exercise you're not doing, feeling all the feels right now. I'm doing my very best to not judge a single thing, except appreciate the things I know for sure, like real measurable things that not one person could refute. And I just felt like that resonated, especially, I'm Jewish. I don't even celebrate Christmas really. Well, a little bit with my nephews, but it's a time when people are taking stock over the holidays, and it's a time when it can be lonely. It can be an anxiety provoking time. It can be lots of things, but I loved that post in particular.
Thanks.
So
thank you. That's so nice. Well, I mean, as I get older, I realize that anything that I'm feeling, it's never the first time that anybody has ever felt it, and it's certainly not the last. And that if I am feeling it, there's going to be at least one other person out there that's feeling it, which is the thing that is so fascinating about being human, is that you aren't ever really alone. You may feel alone, but there's always somebody out there who's feeling something so similar or has felt it, even if they're not feeling it in the moment. And that by sharing it, you then feel connected. At least that's how I am. And that's how, when I am feeling sad or depressed or anxious, sometimes the best cure for it is to just say those words and to share that with somebody, even if that's the only part of your circumstance that changes, is that you're just saying those words out loud. It can make a difference. So yeah.
No, that's absolutely true. Yeah, I mean, it's just, especially since we've been in this kind of holding pattern for the past year, and in some ways it's produced a lot of different kinds of feelings, isolation, but also kind of like it's okay to just do nothing every night,
Totally.
which, I think a lot of us have been doing, and thankfulness and gratefulness and so many things. But, it's been a lot. So,
it definitely
Winnie,
has.
I also wanted to, yes. I also wanted to ask you, like on a lighter note, what do you think of other kind of lifestyle blogs or websites? And I, in particular, thought of like Goop with Gwyneth Paltrow. And I don't know, I'm just so curious. And you don't have to like dish about it, but I'm just curious what your thoughts are.
I like Gwyneth Paltrow a lot. Like I don't. I know a lot of people love to hate her and criticize her for being, so privileged or just head in the clouds about what is accessible to most of women in the world. Most women don't have access to the things that she has access to. But just like anything else, like she's running a business, she has an audience, and it's not for everybody, but it is for a specific crew of people that can afford those things. But even if you can't afford those things, like so many things that are entertainment, it's, even if you can't afford it, it's fun to fantasize. And I'm sure that she knows that she's privileged, like I'm sure she knows that what she's able to access is really not common. But like I said, she has a niche, just like I have a niche. And so I don't fault her that at all for finding it and tapping into it, because there is a group of women out there that can afford all of that. Otherwise, she probably wouldn't still be doing what she's doing. I have some people that I follow, and to be totally honest, like I don't even know, I can't even think of like what their names are, but a lot of it is it's like older women who have great style. Oh, yeah.
Keep talking. Let me just get these.
Older women, and I say older women, like, my gosh, women older than myself. I typically don't love following. I'm gonna be 50 this summer, so I'm kind of following women of a similar age and older, because I'm sort of looking to, okay, these are women that inspire me and who I can aspire to be like, this sort of aging gracefully and, as natural as possible and not getting Botox as much as I think about it and threaten it all the time. And my husband claims he will divorce me if I get Botox, but it's fun to be able to see women who still, are putting forth an effort to be stylish, and how it changes over time, how their style evolves. Because mine certainly has in many ways, and in many ways it hasn't. Like, I'm going to jump ahead to a question that I saw that you had sent me about the 80s. And I went through a period of time where I hated the 80s after the 80s, but now I'm like so into the 80s again. And I never thought that I would, because I thought I really hated the 80s. I thought there was nothing good from the 80s. But here I am, like, my hair is the same haircut that I had then. You know what I mean? Like, the short hair and the boyfriend jeans and some of the, like, I loved shoulder pads. I don't know if I'm going to go back to shoulder pads, but like the big hoop earrings. So, just kind of bringing back your favorite parts from those eras. There's always something good. There's always something good,
Yes. Yeah. No, that was going to be something that I asked you next, just about the 80s. And like, I think I'm a little bit younger than you, but I was still aware of the trends in the 80s, and I had like my little acid wash jean jacket but and I loved so many of the classic 80s movies. Like, I don't know what ones like stand out to you.
Oh, I have a few
classic 80s movies. Yeah, I want to know.
16 Candles and Breakfast Club for sure. Molly Ringwald in Breakfast Club, her outfit was like everything to me. I'm like, what was that? It was like a V-neck, rose pink, and I always wanted to know, like, is it cotton? Is it is it canvas? Is it silk? Like, I always wanted to like touch it. And then Lisa Bonet in the Cosby Show. She was like, and still is, she was like, I idolized her. Like, tuck the shirt in the front, leave it long in the back. I mean, she is so cool. She will always be cool. She will always be cool.
Yes.
What other movies? Those were like two of my favorites, and for sure could quote them from start to finish. And, of course, like, we now find out that, some of those scenes in those movies were not so great. Like so anyway, I loved them at the time.
I'm totally with you. I know. Like, as my friends and I, because a lot of my girlfriends and I are still friends, and we watched those movies together, I mean, 100 times. And getting older, we were like, well, that's like, I mean, some of the characters and references and stereotypes are not great. But they're still in my heart for a reason. And it was like us when we were that age.
Yeah. I mean, that was what was being put out. I mean, we, in some ways it was like, well, we didn't know any better. Yeah.
No. I met Joan Cusack. It was probably like 10 years ago. I was working at a school, more than 10 actually, maybe 15. And her son went there. And so I just couldn't stop myself. And I was like talking to her about 16 Candles. And when she has on the headgear and her like little dress skirt with like the Yeah, it was so mortifying when I like acted it out for her, and she just stood there, like not sure how to react.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, I know the scene. I lived it. I was in it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That
She was
is
like, I can't
hilarious.
believe like people are still watching it. Yeah, I'm like,
Oh my
of course
gosh.
they are.
Was she nice?
So okay, she was very nice. Yeah,
Good. Okay, good.
she was very, very nice.
Good.
Yeah, definitely. So, okay, I have these roasted plantains and
How are the
they
walnuts?
came out pretty well. The walnuts, so I've got the walnuts here in the
Oh, they
skillet.
look good. They look great.
Yeah, I think so. And I have my plantains, and I will show you these. So, according to Rick Bayless, you can just make like small little chunks here and leave the peel on for presentation purposes.
Oh, gotcha.
So,
okay.
and then, yeah, I can just open up the peel a little bit and then.
And you're not supposed to eat the peel, right?
No.
Okay.
You're not.
Okay.
So, okay. So now I'm supposed to put on this. I know it looks like very American, but it actually is the brand that he said to get. And it is made with goat's milk. And it's this caramel sauce.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So now you put it on and then put on some of the roasted chopped walnuts.
Gosh.
And I'm definitely I'll drop some of this off.
What? You are?
So you yeah, I will.
So excited.
Yeah, then you can try
I'm so excited. I was just thinking, God, I wish I was there with you. Oh, that looks so good.
Well, good. Yeah, I mean, I have no idea what to expect.
Oh my God, it's going to be so
just
good.
Have a little
How could it not be?
taste. Oh my God.
Uh-huh. Is it like scale of 1 to 10? What is that?
It's like an 8, and only because I think I'm just kind of getting used to. I had in my head a different flavor. It's cooked perfectly, and the goat's milk is good. It's a little
different. Is it
different.
not
It's
as
just a little
sweet
different.
as you were anticipating?
It's very good.
Interesting. So is this considered a dessert?
It is. He put it in the dessert section, and he did make a note that it's not super sweet, and so it's good. The caramel is sweet.
I mean, you could technically probably do the same thing with bananas and have it be sweet.
Yeah. No, I think you'll think it's sweet. It's just a surprising kind of combo with the goat milk caramel and stuff, you know? It's very thick.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to try it. I'm so excited.
So okay, so we are going to do a little fashion show. Before we get there, I'd want to know from you, like, what are some of the favorite things in your closet? It could be 1, 2, 3 things that you just love.
That is so easy to answer. So I have a pair of overalls that I bought at the Gap maybe 4 or 5 years ago that are hands down my favorite thing to wear. I wear them all year round. I'll wear them with a tank top in the summer and flip-flops, or in the winter I just layer it up and wear with boots. And every time I wear them, I get questions about them. People ask me about them all of the time. And I've always loved overalls. And I remember years ago, I had gone to Napa with an old boyfriend and went, unbeknownst to me, to a very fancy restaurant for lunch, and I was wearing overalls, and I remember being so embarrassed. And I had just run the Chicago Marathon, so I was like just tired and sore, and overalls just were all I wanted to put on my body. And And I remember I called my parents, and I was talking to my dad, and I was telling him how embarrassed I was that, we went into this restaurant, and I walked in and I was like, oh my God, I'm so underdressed. I felt like such a fool. And my dad said, well, Winnie, it's never appropriate to wear overalls. So, like, basically saying I deserved to feel uncomfortable. And I was like, it should always be appropriate to wear overalls. Like, overalls are the best. And I remember my dad was always very well dressed. He, like, I think to the day he died, he wore a belt with whatever he had on. He had his belt on. No matter how sick he felt, he had his belt on. Like, he was a very, very well-dressed man and took pride in his appearance. And so I think I had let him down by wearing overalls at all. But anyway, he's no longer with us, and would probably be turning over at the fact at how often I wear my overalls now. But I do love them. Other favorites. I'm like a very big fan of a button down, just like what I have on right now. I have a few, like this one's a favorite, and I have a J. Crew one that I love that's just white, and I have a blue and white striped one. So just sort of like classics. And surprisingly, I have a very small collection of shoes. I like tend to find like a pair that I love and then just wear them to death. So I don't have a giant shoe collection. I just bought a pair of work boots that I love, that again are probably not, according to some people, appropriate for every situation, but they're really comfortable. They lace up, they're Red Wing, and they're the only shoes that I can wear in the store all day and not have a sore back. Like, they offer tons of support and cushion. Because any of my other shoes that I wear, if I'm in the store all day, I come home and my whole body will ache because we have cement floors. So, so yeah, those are some of my favorites right now, without question.
Yeah, no, I love that. Especially the overalls.
They're good.
Okay. So let's start the fashion show. We're gonna call this Chuck or Cherish. And Winnie, you can be totally honest. I don't care at all.
I will. Okay.
You will not offend me. So I have to tell you, this was my grandma's, so I'm not gonna like throw it away. But what I want to know, the sleeves are quite short because she was about 5 feet tall.
My gosh.
So
but they work. They're like a 3/4 length sleeve. I love it. You do? Yeah, I really do. I think it's so cute. So it's a little blurry, sadly, so I can't see like full detail. But what I'm seeing is this is sort of like a pleated. Is it pleated, or is it just like a flat, almost like the tails of a bow?
It's like flat, like the tails of a bow.
So cool. Have you ever worn it?
No.
I love it. And I would, of course, wear that with jeans. Do you know who Jenna Lyons is?
Yes.
Do you know that she has a show on HBO? She like basically, for anybody that doesn't know, Jenna Lyons was responsible for like making J. Crew a really big deal. She was a stylist, and she was sort of running the show for a long time. And she left a few years ago and was kind of no one knew what she was doing, or no one was hearing from her. And there's a show that just came out that was on HBO, or is on HBO, that anyway, she's a style icon for me. Like, she is one that like I know her name and I look up to her and I like obsess over what she wears. She does like a high-low thing very, very well. And she would
Ooh.
probably go bananas, no pun intended, for this shirt. And she would put it with jeans and probably also layer it. Cause like one thing that you could do if the sleeves, if you're not able to button the sleeves, if they're too short, you could then layer like something casual over it, like a denim jacket or like a cargo army camouflage jacket, like something cotton, something sort of not as dressy, or even a blazer. And you could cover the sleeves up that way. And so then you just get the really awesome, the part that does look the way that it's supposed to look, which is that front panel. That's so cool. I love it. Does it have shoulder pads?
Okay. It doesn't, but I have ginormous
Well, that's good.
shoulders.
Giant shoulders are good. I'm serious.
Well, the next look does have shoulder pads. Also, my grandma's dress will not be insulted. I won't throw it away, but I want to see what you think of it. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay. This I wish you could see really clearly. This is a dress.
Sequins?
It's like a houndstooth. And the shoulder pads are basically like someone took a cushion, a chair cushion, and cut it out and put it in.
Gosh.
Oh my God, they're so huge. And it's a dress.
I think it's cute. I think it's like you're so tiny and it makes you look bigger than you are because of the pattern and the shoulders. Like if it were a jacket, probably adorable, but as it is, I feel like it overwhelms you. I typically don't love tube tops because they tend to so here's my thought. You are not too old at all to wear that at all. What I would say is like put a necklace with it that is more of a defining, like not a dainty necklace, like something it up a little bit. Break up the land, the scape. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. That makes sense. I got you.
Cute.
Thanks. I think my mom got it for me a
What's
million years ago. It's just like
t-shirt
casual
material.
It's kind of like jersey-ish feeling, or
cute.
So okay, I'll be back.
Sounds
Next
good.
one.
Oh, it's cute.
Above my knee a little bit, like 2 inches.
Beautifully.
It does. It has a seam, kind of like a little band.
I don't know how everybody feels.
I just feel like it's a little, like maybe not my style so much anymore.
Well, I mean, that's something that always down. And depending on like if you did add a belt to it.
Yeah, like I just No, that's a good idea. That's a good recommendation. Okay, I will put on like one or two more at the most.
This is so
I'll be
fun.
right back.
I love it.
Okay, so this is something I got in LA many years ago at a resale shop, and I want to say like Albert Nippon or something. Anyway, so the bows tie, I can untie them as well and have them be like hanging down long. Or I did tie them for this, and it buttons on the side, and it's all cotton. It's a little, I have worn it a bunch of times for like family events. It's a little cute for me.
So
but I have never been able. Yeah, I am sure that they could be. Just looking at the stitches, yeah.
And it opened, and you could see your like cute bod underneath. It would be broaden. Like I always like something that has a strap of some kind like I don't love strapless dresses either, but that's like it's just a personal thing. I always like having like some sort of definition, more statement that has like, I don't know, bigger beads or something with like a big pendant, and that would sort of create some I'm doing this a lot. Create some, just like a break. It's such a pretty color.
Okay.
I think it's super cute. The only comment that I might make would be like if you had a belt that you could, does it have a waist, like a seam around the waist? About this, but I'm always a big fan of adding a belt as an accessory, just to, it sort of draws the eye in, and then so you have this like nice neckline on it, and it fits you so beautifully, and you could like accentuate your waist with just nothing big or bulky, but like a dark belt, like a black belt, with like a, you know, like a little gold buckle or something like that. But I think it's cute. I think it's great. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
How do you feel
thanks.
about it?
So
Whenever I put something on, there's sometimes where I just don't feel like me, and I know that I won't wear it, and so I'll just get rid of it. So that's, if you are like, I don't know, like it looks beautiful on you, but if you're like, oh, I probably wouldn't wear this. I mean, there's also lots of ways to kind of make something, help transition something. Like if you've had it for a while, you can make it work for you in a different way by, again, like adding a belt or adding a jacket that's maybe, you could put a denim jacket with that probably and dress it down. You could make it more casual, like if you use a more casual belt, and depending on what shoes you wear. So you could kind of make that work for you in a different way than maybe when you bought it, you might have worn it with like pumps and, you know, a set of pearls or something. And now you're like, I'm not that person and I don't have that lifestyle anymore. And, you know, so you could try that.
Yeah.
I love it. And talk to me about the bows. I get that it's the bows are what make it that, right? Like it's, so I would imagine that it feels less cute when they're hanging down. Are they able to be removed at all? Could remove them. Another thought would be, can the ones around the waist be kind of separated and then tied around your waist like a belt? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know that there would be enough material to go around.
Yeah.
But maybe someone could construct one out of the two ties.
Well, I would say probably the easiest or best solution would be like, you could just remove them. And you could, if you liked having the option, you could keep them and then you could like pin them on with like a tiny little safety pin. But I think it's really cute. I like it. How long is it?
It is a few inches past my knees. So it's very much like a summery sundress look.
I would probably wear that all the time if I were you. And it sounds like you've worn it a bunch. And yeah, I think it would be super cute with like, you know, little leather sandals. And again, you could put probably, well, I don't know if that can be belted. It looks like the waist is sort of higher. It may not belt.
Yes.
But you could also like, you know, put a little like white capped sleeve t-shirt on underneath it. Like if you, I don't know if you can wear a bra with that, because of the straps, but
I have one on.
So you could do like a white cap sleeve t-shirt under it or a white tank top underneath it and make it a lot more casual. And like some little sneakers would be cute. But you look good in all of these things. I mean, you're like you wear your clothes so well.
Oh, well, thanks, Winnie. I tend to just wear jeans, a hooded sweatshirt, and high top sneakers every day.
Well, you know, when you find what works, it's, you know, it's never a bad thing.
Okay, so we'll have my last look. I will warn you, it's a little bit like racy. And you might tell me I look like a streetwalker, and that's fine. Okay. I'll be right back.
I mean, it is very specific. You would have, you can't wear that everywhere, but you look great in it. Where have you worn it in the past?
Nowhere. I got it for an 80s party at a resale shop. It's a Marc Jacobs it's a Marc Jacobs skirt. It was $2, like literally.
Is it sequins?
And I thought, well,
sequins?
It's ruffled, like a very shiny, ruffly material. And I've never worn it, but I've had it for a couple of years.
So I would, again, with the denim jacket or some kind of like shorter jacket, I would like put it on to kind of balance out the bottom. But like, I mean, I think it's totally adorable. I got to be honest. Again, like, I don't know where you're going to wear it, but but you look great in it. And it's always the question, like, how do you feel in it? Silly? Do you feel silly in it? You do?
Yeah. I mean, so maybe with black tights and maybe with like, black tights and definitely black tights, I guess that would be the thing.
With black tights and then black tights on top of those tights. Maybe you could wear it with like black tights. I mean, I was just going to say, like, if you just make sure they're like super opaque and you don't feel exposed, I mean, it always comes down to how you feel about it. Like, I am sitting here and I'm saying like, gosh, I love it. And I wish like I wouldn't wear it myself because I'm really self-conscious about my legs. I have like short legs and I am always like I have one skirt that's short that for some reason it's like this one skirt is sort of magical. And I feel like it's the only skirt that I actually look good in. It's something about the skirt. I don't know what it is. It's so random. But if I had like long limbs like you, I would wear stuff like that probably all the time. But it just depends. Like it just depends on how you feel in it. If you don't feel good in it, don't wear it. I am a big fan of like I have a ton of stuff in my closet that that it's like I have a dress from the store, from the shop, that I came home with. I was like, I love it so much. It's so feminine. It's so pretty. And every time I put it on, I was like, I don't feel good in it. Like it looks so pretty on the hanger. And then I put it on my body and I'm like, why don't I like it? And I will dissect it and I will try it in a million different ways and do really weird things. Like, so this one dress, it's got these sort of like angel wing sleeves. I'm not that tall. Like I said, I don't have long limbs. And so the whole thing just overwhelms me. And so what I did is I like folded the sleeves under and it had like this really plunging neckline, which I felt like I was always futzing with. So I was like, I'm going to put a tank top on underneath it. I'm going to fold the sleeves under and it like eliminated all this extra bulk. And so sometimes, and then it looked so much better. And I was like, oh, I actually like how I look in this dress now. And I would feel very comfortable and very me in it. Whereas like I had worn it once before to an event and I just felt like somebody's mom. Do you know what I mean? I was like, I don't feel like I look remotely comfortable. So anyway.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's spot on. Yeah, you have to feel good in it or you'll just be awkward
totally. You'll just be futzing with all the parts that like pulling it down, worrying about your legs and someone seeing your underwear and
Oh my God. Well, this has been very
so fun. Love it.
I loved having you on and your fashion tips and your inspiration, Winnie. It's been really fun just to like look at your Instagram and come into the store. It's
Thanks, Lauren.
yes, very positive.
Well, I always
wonderful.
love
Yeah.
when you come in. You're always a real joy to chat with, and I've always loved your you have like such a funny way about you, and I never knew that you did stand up. And so when I found out, I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense. So you have a great I don't know, just a great aura. I love when you come in.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. So I have loved this segment, Chuck or Cherish.
So fun. I love it.
And of course,
I want to do it
yeah,
again. I want to do it again.
Okay. Yeah, this is great. I mean, you're the perfect person to do it with, and then maybe we can do it in person sometime.
That would be great.
And I will definitely bring you some of our platanus.
I'm so excited.
Okay, so I want to thank you, my special guest for today, Winifred Gundek, and this has been Hot Dish. We made a really nice, hot and tasty treat, and you dished about all the things, and it's been wonderful. And thank you to Lincoln Lodge and Christine Ferreira, who is a wonderful producer and friend. And that is a wrap. We'll see you next time.
Thanks so much, Lauren.